finding that doing the live off the recording, live off the studio recording, bringing that to the stage
Absolutely.
is also really different.
And it makes it more realistic when I get to show up and I get to do something on stage where I'm not trying to recreate what's impossible to recreate. You know, it's like, the truth is I learned, I mean, there's, in the recording, I felt like I really had presence, and I kept saying that to people, and I didn't know how to articulate what I meant, but that things weren't so perfect time-wise or pitch-wise. There was a live feeling that gave energy, that gave a vibe that I'm not pooping on my old records, but I don't know that they had as much as, or you know, as much as I would have liked them to have. This last one was a really nice mix of having that great feel, like live off the floor feel. With, you know, listen, songs like Stardust, I remember hearing it the first time, and there was kind of a tinge of like, ugh, because I was pitchy, you know, there was pitchy, and I hadn't fixed it through whatever, Pro Tools and stuff. But at the same time, I knew it was right, I knew it felt right. And then songs like Haven't Met You Yet, man, I totally used Pro Tools. I was using stuff that I was out of tune places and using it. And the thing is, I wanted that to sound like a modern pop song. That was what I wanted. And so it worked great. But for a song like You're Nobody or Baby You Got What It Takes for Sharon, no, we wanted that to sound authentic. And so it just sort of was two different ways of recording and producing. And I was lucky because a guy like David Foster, who has not, I mean, obviously is not known for that sort of, you know, that live feel. He's a really, you know, he's a producer who produces. He trusted me and believed that, you know, that my vision would hope. Well, I don't know if he trusted me that much, but I think I was going to say I think at the end he was like, you know what, okay, you know, this actually worked. And he's amazing. I mean, there's things that he does too that bring production into the thing where you just go, wow, I never could have done that without you. And Bob, same thing, was absolutely incredible. You know, he errs more on the side of being, you know what Bob is like. He'd rather have the vibe, yeah. So, and then Umberto, same thing. I mean, I hired Umberto too. Umberto's an engineer and a producer, but the thing that I kept in this whole record was the continuity of the record was that Umberto mic'd everything, so that every session he had the whole room, all of these people, you know, in the room playing live, mistakes and all. But it gave it a lot more pop, a lot more edge.
Thank you. A live album in the next 2.5 years is probably a...
Well, actually, you know what, Bruce and I are talking about it actually, because what we're going to do is we're going to come out with I'm going to take a couple songs live off this, and because you know, a lot of the songs I do now are completely different than they were on the record, and there's a really cool vibe to doing them just live, and you know, mistakes and all. Feels really good.
Can you compare your career now to when it all began, and just in regards to the way that you approach music? How has that changed?
Well, I think I just have a lot more confidence in my decision making, the ideas I have. I think that, I mean, the way I write, especially, I mean, I'm not a genius. I write in a very formulaic way. I know the patterns of chords that I like. I know the messages that they give me, how they make me feel. And so I think I have an easier time maybe writing a hit song now, knowing that I think it'll be a hit. But I think that makes it harder for me to write with other people because the longer I write and the more confident I get, the more I start to realize that, you know, compromise will breed mediocrity. And sometimes the people I write with so far have been Alan and Amy and Robert Scott and Jan Arden I've written with. And what's nice is that I'm so close to them. They're such good friends of mine that I'm not embarrassed when an idea comes along for me to say, no, I don't like that. That's the thing is when you try to write with people. I mean, I wrote with a girl who's now a friend of mine, but at the time I didn't know her very well. A girl named Cara DeGuardi, who was the judge on Idol last year, and a great writer and a nice girl. And I hated it. You know, I hated what we wrote. Not because it was not that she didn't bring something to the table, but I didn't know her well enough. When she said, "What do you think of this?" I would say, "Yeah, that's cool." And you know, but if that was Jan or someone else, I'd say, "No, I need it. That's you know." I think when I was writing "Haven't Met You Yet," my poor piano player, I drove him crazy. I mean, one day we sat for honestly 6 hours or something, and we were coming to the chorus of the song. Someday it'll all turn out, and you make me work so good, and I promise you care to give so much more than I get. We were going into that, he was, and I was singing this chord to him, and he kept playing it, and it was honestly hours, 4 or 5 hours maybe, and finally we got upset with each other, and I kept saying to him, it's not right, it's not right, and he said, listen, take off. And he took off, he grabbed a beer, and he went in the swimming pool, and we quit writing for the night, and the next morning we got up and we said, you want to try this again? And we got back to the chorus, and he started playing again, and I said, no, and he played it one more time, and I went, that's it, right there, and he said, dude, I changed one note on this chord, and I said, that was the note, that was it, and I promise you, it's always been like that, where I know exactly what it is I want, and I make it's difficult to work with me. Anyway, what did you want me to say? What am I supposed to say about it?
Okay, just there would be announcement after the second song tonight.
Okay. Well, really? I say that?
No.
I don't leave it as a surprise?
Yeah, you can leave it a surprise.
Okay, well, I'll leave it as a surprise, yeah.
Do you have it, Dave? Is that what
I
you're
have
saying?
absolutely not. But you know what, though? Honestly, one of the kind of the coolest, best things I've been allowed to say on stage in a long time, or ever, I get to say tonight after my two opening songs.
I think that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Good way to
See, I have a hard time
You're having a
talking.
Thank you, everybody.
No, I can't have a baby. The man engagement ring is enough.
I don't take the pressure off.
Thank you.